What's going on, everybody? So I got a chance to check out It's a Wonderful Life, and this film stars Jane Woodruff as Winnie, who is living a less than wonderful life after her friends were brutally murdered. Her parents aren't taking it very seriously. A year has passed after a psychotic killer was hacking down people left and right, and after her family doesn't take everything too seriously, she wishes she had never been born and finds herself in a parallel universe where without her, things could be much, much worse. Going into this movie, I knew very little about this movie. I saw the trailer 5 minutes before my screening, and I was instantly curious, mostly because we have Justin Long in this movie, and now that he's been in several horror films with Barbarian, Jeepers Creepers, Drag Me to Hell, and now this, we can officially call him a horror icon. That every single time he pops up in a horror film, you know exactly how this film is going to go. And right from the get-go, he is absolutely amazing. He doesn't have a lot of screen time in this movie, but whenever he pops up on screen, he is just having so much fun with this material and knows how to camp it up a little bit more. And this film is written by Michael Kennedy, who wrote Freaky, a movie that I was really surprised by. It was a lot of fun. It took the Freaky Friday and put it in a horror film, and with It's a Wonderful Life, he is doing the same thing except taking It's a Wonderful Life and turning it into a horror movie. And for the most part, I enjoyed the first half of this movie a little bit more than the second half of the film. You have such great kills. There are creative ways that this killer, who looks like Moon Knight, the way that this killer kills people, I thought it was very creative. They do a lot of creative things with those kills in the first half, and for the most part, I was really vibing with Winnie for a little bit. I think their performance is okay and serviceable. This was the first time that I ever seen Jane Woodruff. I thought they did a perfectly nice job with the material that it was given. And so with those kills, if you're looking for a holiday movie that is super bloody, you're going to get it with this movie, because it definitely has a lot of great kills in the first half and some creative kills in the last half of this film as well. However, with this character of Winnie, I was not able to fully get on board with her and the way that they really set her up, because you're supposed to feel sorry for them for losing their friends, and I was not able to get that attached to this character. For that reason, we don't get to spend a lot of time with their friends or them interacting too much before they get hacked off. And even when it gets down to the parallel universe, there has been 23 or 25 murders since she was not born, and so she was not able to prevent the killer from killing other people. Even when they go to the parallel universe, you don't get to see their friends because they're already dead when she arrives there. So in order for me to care about this character and about her losing her friends, I was just not able to get in that invested in that dilemma, because I was not able to see them interact. I didn't know what the friendship relationship was. I think that is where the writing is really lacking, because you don't care about this character as much as you're supposed to. You're supposed to feel sorry for her, because if she had never been born, then this killer probably wouldn't have gone on a killing spree and her friends would probably be alive. And they don't do a lot of creative things with that premise where it gets you fully invested, because once we get into the last half, it goes in such a weird and trippy direction that it just doesn't make any sense, and they try to throw a lot of sci-fi things at you that really doesn't even make any remote sense. And that is where Justin Long comes in. This isn't a spoiler, it's shown directly in the trailers, but in her life where her friends are killed, Justin Long's character is the killer, and he is more of a dickish mayor. In a way, he's more a little bit more cartoony, and so in that universe, he was the killer. And now once we get into this parallel universe where she was never born, her parents only had one kid, and that kid died as well, and now we have another killer. It doesn't have that same mystery, because then once the killer gets revealed, then it takes a lot of the wind out of its sails. I kind of wish it went in the direction where we already knew who the killer was, and we were trying to follow all these murders already knowing who the killer is, and it just doesn't go in that way. Plus, you also have a lot of campiness, and so if you're not into campiness, this movie is not going to work for you, because it is just hammered with a lot of humor that does not hit. There are some moments of levity. It didn't work for me as much as Happy Death Day or Freaky work for me. And so when you have that horror campiness in here, it works, but just a small amount of it does work. So if you're not into the campiness, this movie is not going to work for you. And the cinematography was not the best because it felt like it was filmed with fog or smudges attached to the camera lens, and there are just a lot of glow effects where it doesn't even seem right, where it just seems like it's a dream sequence kind of in a way. And so you have those kind of shots in here, but I don't think this movie is terrible. There are some decent things in here that I really enjoyed. I just wish that once we got into the last half of this film, once she enters this universe where she was never born, I wish there were more creative kills like we got in the first 10 minutes of this movie, because those 10 minutes were really working for me. I was really enjoying it. I thought the kills were decent enough and they really did get creative. But once we get into the parallel universe and we're trying to figure out what is going on, doesn't work for me. The parents are not the best. They're probably the worst written characters in the movie. And once we get into the parallel universe and when you're dealing with a new killer, it's just a lot of stabbing. And if you're into that, this is going to work for you. I don't mind it, but I kind of wish it got a little bit more creative, especially since this movie is taking place in Christmas. Not sure why it's being released in November when we have Thanksgiving. This movie is not awful. There are some decent things that I think some people will enjoy, and there are some things that could have been fleshed out a little bit better. But overall, I'm going to go ahead and give It's a Wonderful Knife a 5 out of 10. Like I said, it's not awful. There are just some creative kills. I really like the design of the killer. I like the way that he looks, the way that he moves. It works for me enough for me not to completely hate this movie or be one of my worst films of the year. It was just one of those films where I kind of needed a little bit more. But those are my thoughts on It's a Wonderful Knife. It's going to be premiering on Shudder November 10th, so check it out there. Not sure if it's going to be getting a limited release, but if you do get a chance to check it out in theaters, I think this is worth your while. Definitely check it out when it's on discount Tuesdays. But if you're looking for a Christmas movie to check out during Thanksgiving, go ahead and check this film out on Shudder because I think it's a decent enough time. Are you guys even remotely interested in this movie? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next review.